outside, though, we have Maria Bodiak, national indoor champion over 200 meters. She is Agata Zupin, 7 times the Slovenian champion over the barriers. Personal best of 55.96. And then as we move across the field, we have Upel of Norway, Ricic of Poland. As we start at Yule, Amelie Yule. 2 previous occasions, the last 2 European Championships, she's been a finalist, so somebody to look out for as well. Samaki of Finland in lane 3, and then Saramato, 5 times national indoor champion over 400 meters without the barriers. Personal best recently in Budapest of 55.49. So quite a number of women here who've run under 56 seconds. Vera Barbosa as well, national record holder for Portugal, 55.22, which she did at the Olympics back in 2012, now 35 years of age. So as they settle into their blocks from the inside, it's Mato, Hungary, Usamaki, Finland, Yule, Norway, Uta, Romania, Barbosa, Portugal, Gidik, Poland, Stupin of Slovenia, and Bodiak of Ukraine. Well, it's a pretty even start. Oh, Uta looks as though she's come to grief at the first hurdle. But on the outside, it's Zupin running well, the Slovenian. At this stage, also Yule, the Norwegian. On her inside, Usamaki also having a very good run as well. First to rise now as they come into the bend with 3 hurdles to go. It's Barbosa. Barbosa had a very, very strong second 100 meters on the outside. Bodiak starting to drift back now. But after a good bend, Barbosa starting to tire. Yule looking as though she's gauged her run better. On the inside coming through, Mato of Hungary. So Mato ran a strong second half of the race. Yule coming through. It's the Hungarian followed home by the Norwegian. But as you're now starting to become familiar, this is all done on fastest times. And it's the 13 fastest that will go through to tomorrow's semi-final.
So over to this second heat of the women's 400-meter hurdles. The first heat won by Sara Matto of Hungary in 55.95 from Yule of Norway, 56.23. So, I don't think that was Fra for France. That was Daniela Fra of Spain. I was almost confused myself when I saw that. The end that does not start is Molnar. And she was due to be in lane 7, so that's a shame for the Hungarian, with her compatriot having just won the first heat. There is Demes of Germany, twice World Under-20 Championships finalist at 400-meter hurdles. And back in 2016, and then in 4x400. So Farr goes in lane 5. We saw Daniela Fra of Spain in 6. Farr of Switzerland is a World Championship finalist in the relay. Says the sky is the limit. That's a saying. Ganafki of Greece goes in 4. Kokaut of Belgium in 3. European number 9 this year. Good athlete, the quickest in this field. She's run 55.23 earlier on this year, and she's a 54.4 performer, Kokaut. She should go strongly here. And then on the inside, Daniela Ledecka of Slovakia. 56.01, her lifetime best. 56.7 this year. So that lineup from the inside, because I'm not sure we saw the athletes on the outside. Ledecka of Slovakia in 2, Kokaut of Belgium in 3, Ganafaki of Greece in 4, Farr of Switzerland in 5, then Daniela Fra of Spain in 6. Lane 7 is empty. Molnar is a non-starter. In lane 8, Demes of Germany, Eileen Demes in 9. Izabela Smolinska of Poland. Remember, no automatic qualifying spots from this one. It's all about getting a quick time and trying to place in the top 13 from these 3 heats. Going well at the moment is the German Demesh. She's a 55.2 performer at her best. Left her picture. She's already picked up Slomolinska of Poland. Also going strongly, the Belgian Kalkite in lane 3 there, second to right in the white vest. They come into this second bend. And also going pretty well is the Spaniard Fra in lane 6 in that orange and yellow strip. Little adjustment there from the German Demesh nearest the camera, but she's tall and powerful and easing away to this one. Or is she going to get caught by Fra of Spain? Fra moving strongly. Demesh again, a little hesitation before that one, but she's so strong between the barriers. She's able to ease away on the run and to win by a couple of meters there, maybe a bit more. Good dip there from Kalkite, Belgium. I'm not sure if she got second or not. 55.26 for Demesh unofficially. That is a new season's best. In fact, just checking, it's a new personal best, I think, from the German, and it was a little untidy through the second half.
Yes, she was looking as though she was tiring over the second half of the race, and particularly the final 3 hurdles, but Demesh still had enough in the tank to be able to carry on and come through for the victory. Fra just held off the fast-finishing Kokite of Belgium. It looked as though coming off the final hurdle, Kokite was going to reel her in, but as we were saying, it doesn't matter at all. It's not like the semi-finals when it'll come down to automatic qualifiers and fastest non-automatic qualifiers. Fra tiring, she's going from side to side. Kokite coming home very quickly, but just having to settle for 3rd place. But good times there, all well within 56 seconds. I'll hazard a guess and say that'll see all 3 women through quite comfortably, where they'll join in the semi-finals the likes of the defending champion and defending world champion Femke Bol, as well as some other very good runners.
There it is, Demesh and Fra, both running personal bests. They're great from the German and Spaniard, respectively. Kalkite 55.73. We'll have to wait and see if she gets
Of shape in the last year or so.
Phil, the 400-meter hurdlers will be quite happy with these warm conditions. There's a little bit of breeze in the arena, but not much. But these are nice racing conditions for sprinters, even long sprinters.
Indeed, and no surprise that we've seen a number of personal bests as well, even though these are just the heats. So we have 7 women in this 3rd and final heat. Already seen, because there's only 7 women and 13 to go through, a number of names automatically qualified, including the previous heat winners, Marto of Hungary and Demesh of Germany. So from the outside, it's Kelly McGrory of Ireland, Moa Granite, reigning European under-20 champion, 19 years of age, Moa Granite, also a very quick athlete on the flat. Diallo of Portugal, recently improved to 55.33. Diallo, she could be up there in the mix. Sletum of Norway, now 37 years of age. Linda Oliveri, and it's getting towards late in the program, but the Italians are still here and still very, very enthusiastic. I wonder how much of a limited edition that is. Linda Oliveri, we're proud of you, said the banner. Nicoletta Gishova, the European gold medal in the 4x400 meters relay at the under-23 championships back in 21. Kristina Halonen of Finland, recent personal best of 55.99. And then the very talented Yasmin Geiger. She's had injury problems, but she was a World Championship finalist and has twice taken European under-23 bronze medalists. Personal best came back in 2021 at those European under-23 championships, but has been running close to it that season. So as they settle into their blocks, Very quickly from the inside, Geiger, Hallinan, Chichova, Olivieri, Sletum, Diallo, Granit and McGrory. And out very quickly is the Italian Olivieri. Also on her inside, Chichova of the Czech Republic doing very well indeed. So 3 hurdles undertaken. Chichova now first to rise at the 5th hurdle. And as they come into the bend on the far side of the arena, it's Chichova, but coming through strongly around that bend was Granit there. Granit moving up very quickly. Chichova and Olivieri, though, battling for first place in 4th and 5th lanes at the moment. Chichova now coming through strongly as Granit starts to tire. Diallo coming through well on the outside. Oh, and Geiger just went through the gears there in the last 50 meters off that final hurdle. So it's win for the Czech Republic. Czechia, as it's now known, Chichova. But Geiger coming through very strongly to confirm her place amongst the 13 women who will progress to the semi-finals tomorrow. And 55.33, well, 54.88, equaling a personal best for Chichova. Geiger, 55.33, a season's best, just 800ths outside of her best.
Brilliant running from Hallinan in lane 3. The Finn runs to a new personal best. She was challenging for the win here. Just run out of legs off this final barrier and then coming through so strongly. On the inside there is the Swiss Geiger. But Chichova of the Czech Republic equaling her personal best for that win. Very, very competent piece of 400-meter hurdling. Look at poor old Hallinan staggering towards the line. They're getting past. She might have done enough to get through. I hope she has, because that was a really gutsy run to run to a personal best.
Olivieri, despite all that support, looking very good for the first 300 meters, but looked very tired down the home straight. Just wonder whether Olivieri's done enough to get through as well. But that was the quickest of the heats. Chichova, the only woman this morning to run under 55 seconds.
Tell you what, the officials are doing a wonderful job. There's a small army of them walking up the back straight, raising the barriers, because the men's 400-meter hurdles are next. And there will be likewise 3 heats in the men's 400-meter hurdles. And that'll be the final track action of the morning. Coming up next, though, after that 3rd women's 400-meter hurdles heat, is the half marathon presentations for the women earlier on this morning.
Confirmation of the race that you've just seen. 3rd heat of the women's 400 meters hurdles. And indeed it was Nicoleta Chichova who won in 54.88, equaling her personal best. That's the consolidated results. Demesh, personal best, also running under 55 seconds this morning. I said Chichova was the only one. There was Demesh as well, the 2nd heat winner. Uta, well, the very, very promising Romanian, though, struggling with...
Yes, indeed. 3 semi-finals. First 2 to go through by right, with 2 non-automatic qualifiers. Perfectly straightforward. Not quite sure why they don't have 9 lanes filled when there are 9 lanes out there on this glorious track. This is Yasmin Giget of Switzerland, 55.3 this year. World Championship finalist is Giget. Lena Nielsen for Great Britain goes in lane 8, 54.7 this year, and indeed that equalled her personal best from Rome a couple of years ago, where she ran her lifetime best. She's also useful on the flat, 51.9 on the flat for the Britain. In 7 inside her, the Italian Iomide Folorunzo, 53.89 she ran last year. She was 6th in Budapest 12 months ago, well, nearly 12 months ago. Good athlete. The Italians will surely roar around this 1 lap of tough hurdling. Youngest in the race, the French Louise Maraval. She's just 22 years old. Best of 54.44 this year. She's actually ranked, although it doesn't show, yes it does, 3rd on the European rankings this year. Hannah Kleis of Belgium going in 5. 32 years old, fully 10 years older than Maraval. 56.3 this year. Fatuma Binta Diallo of Portugal goes in lane 4. 55.33. Ran in Brussels a couple of weeks back, and in her heat, 55.81, close to a lifetime best yesterday. Kristina Hallonen of Finland. She goes in lane 3, 55.62 in her heat yesterday, was a lifetime best. She'll probably need to go a little bit quicker here. And 4 times the Slovakian champion Daniela Ledecka goes in lane 2. European Championship finalist, 56.1, that's all this year. She's up against it here. Yeah, big sigh, she's got to be nervous. Her lifetime best 56.01 was a couple of years ago, and she's very close to that. But now would be a good time to go under 56 seconds. So Lena Nielsen then. She's a yoga coach, and she was a kit carrier at the London 2012 Olympic Games. Here she is 12 years later in a British vest at the European Championships. Semi-final 1 then of the women's 400-meter hurdles. The first 2 go through by right. 2 races to come. Not much room for error. Well, away they go. Giga of Switzerland very late to rise. Nielsen already well up on her there, right to picture. Also going off well, the Portuguese Diallo. But Nielsen leading at the moment down the back straight, although inside her, Folorunso of Italy has gone up pretty hard too. They're basically hurdling in tandem, and inside Folorunso, Maraval of France, the youngster, also going well. Nobody else really showing as the stagger unwinds. A little skip there from Nielsen as she adjusts. With Folorunso, the Italian in blue, now easing into the lead. She's going to have to work hard here this last 100 as Nielsen's getting to the first 2, because Maraval of France is easing away as well, and they're well ahead of Nielsen, and also coming through the Belgian Kleis. And look at the Portuguese Diallo. Really strong finish from Diallo. Oh, the Italian Folorunso hits that last barrier hard. Nielsen coming through and does indeed snatch for second place from the French athlete Maraval, who wins that one. 54.36 from Maraval. That is a new lifetime best for the French athlete. Absolutely brilliant. Held it together. Folorunso losing concentration there down the home straight. The Budapest finalist may not have gone through. We'll have to wait and see. Nielsen, a personal best, 54.43. Well, she'd equaled her lifetime best back on the 18th of May in Chorzow in Poland, 54.73. She's just taken 0.3 of a second off that. Fabulous for the Brit to make it through to the final. Folorunso, 54.52. Even with hitting that last barrier hard, she runs a season's best.
Well, Louise Maraval is an incredible athlete. She has an amazing finish. She showed it when she won relay gold, having been more than 50 metres back at the European Under-23 Championships for an incredible performance there, where she also got an individual silver. But 2021 was her first season of 400-metre hurdling. Her personal best at the start of last season was 57.22, and it's now 54.36, so that's nearly 3 seconds taken off. Lena Nielsen, well, she left it very, very late there, and I'm sure Lavia, if she was watching her twin sister, would have had a heart in her mouth watching that, but Lena ultimately came through 54.43, a big personal best for her, following that recent time in Chorzow, Olympic standard as well. That already was, so that will fill her with confidence, even though she would like to have a bit of a cleaner race. But Nielsen moving up to 6th place, I make it, on the UK all-time list in the middle of all of that.
Yeah, brilliant from Nielsen. Finished strongly just when I thought she was going backwards. And there it is, confirmation of Maraval and Nielsen securing their spots in the final. Both of them with personal best from that first semi-final of the women's 400-metre hurdles. Folorunso with a stumble, finishing third, 54.52, and a national record for Fatoumata Binta Diallo for Portugal there in 4.
But as for this second semi-final, Linda Olivieri, well, of course, her teammate, Folorunso, is waiting to see whether her time will be good enough. Olivieri, one of those that could knock her out. 55.38. Of course, the 400-metre hurdles does tend to be one of those events that you get personal best year on year. There's potential to improve in quite a few areas, as we've been describing. You know you're a big athlete when you've got personalised T-shirts with your name on them, or at least you have very organised supporters. Anna Ryšková, finalist 2 years ago in Munich. This is Nikoleta Yikova of Czechia, going sub 55 seconds for the first time this year. 6th in Europe this year. Vivi Lehokoinen, so someone else who's previously medalled at European under-20s, for example, trying to do it on the senior stage. Finnish national record holder. Another long-standing record that she took over. Finns have had to wait for recent track records, but a great generation coming through. And what about the Dutch, led by Femke Bol, on so many occasions, inspiring a new generation, as she'll do at the European Indoors in Apeldoorn on home soil next year. Amelie Uhl, for many years a training partner of Karsten Warholm, and she's seen him go on to great things, but also a strong athlete herself. This is Izabela Smolinska of Poland. You can see yet another personal best within this field, but we'll have to break it again surely to qualify. And Sara Mato of Hungary going on the inside. PB for her this year of 55.49, so just outside the top 10 in Europe this year. Absolutely no surprise that Femke Bol leading that list, of course, with 53.07, more than 1.2 seconds ahead of anyone else on the continent over this discipline. That time in Stockholm, just days before the start of this competition, that Diamond League event. Mato, Smolinska, Uhl, Bol, Lehokoinen, Yikova, Ryšková, Oliveri. Second semi-final now underway. And athletes off on one lap of the track with these barriers to negotiate. And Femke Bol, like we've said for Karsten Warholm and Jakob Ingebrigtsen and Keely Hodgkinson, shouldn't have to work too hard. Though, of course, this is a semi-final, so that's normally where the competition really steps up. But such is the talent that Bol has, that she can go through at her own pace, really. She was given such a tall order to close down the top 3 in the mixed relay final. Coming through for a medal, but this is the big event for her. Sometimes it's hard to say what her best event is, given how good she is over the 400-meter flat. Yikova coming through incredibly well for that second spot. 54.17 comes up on the clock for Femke Bol here. So, as expected, she's through to the final. Now we wait on times for others. Lehokoinen watching on, Yikova as well. 54.65 the target time, and looks like no one else is going to go through, because third place Amelie Uhl of Norway, not as fast as Folorunso or Diallo, Tim.
Yeah, very good news that for the Italian and the Portuguese, and Folorunso clearly has more in the tank after that, hitting the final barrier, which lost her a lot of ground. Bol 54.16, just right, that really running it with almost with one arm tied behind her back. She's got plenty more time in the tank. Yikova, absolutely brilliant from the Czech. 54.59, the personal best at just the right time. Folorunso able to celebrate at the moment, but with a third semi-final to come, and it's a strong semi-final once more. Here is Bol looking uber relaxed. She always does, and that mixed relay the other night when she was charging down the home straight, trying to catch the Irish leaders. She never really looks stressed, never really looks strained. She's one of these athletes who just stays calm. And look at this, this is cantering home. Unbelievably relaxed, running 54.16. Glancing around, well, you have to remember she's the world record holder for 400 meters indoors. What is it, 49.1 is it? I think her world indoor record for the flat.
She is incredible indoors as well as out over flat and hurdles. It's just sensational to watch her. And as well as that, she has real engagement, she has emotion, she has supreme confidence in her ability, and always a pleasure to see on and off the track.
Yeah, great from Bol as she takes that second semi-final very comfortable. There it is, confirmation of Bol, 51.16 of Czechia, I should say. Personal best 54.59. Ewell, a season's best. This equals a season's best, but not through, nor Legoinen either. Plenty of season's best and personal best as consolation for the others. Kalkite, 54.4 athlete at her best. 55.7 in her heat yesterday. Muraro, Alice Muraro of Italy. What can she do here? Loves walking in the mountains, apparently. Well, her best 54.86. She hasn't got a mountain to climb, but she needs to get in the first two here to be sure of getting through. She ran that to personal best a couple of weeks ago in Marseille. Lina Kloster of Norway, 34 years old now. 56.2 this year. This could be tough for her. She's a 53.9 performer at her best, but that was a couple of years back. Jessie Knight, the school teacher from Great Britain, goes in lane 6. Loves Italian food, so she'll have been enjoying herself for the last few days. 55.5 in Oslo, her season's best 10 days ago. 54.09 a couple of years back is her lifetime best. She's good, consistent hurdler, Knight. She goes in 6, good lane draw. Kathleen Peters in 5 for the Netherlands, 54.3 at Ostrava this year, and that makes her the second fastest in Europe behind Femke Bol. Then the German Eileen Demesch goes in 4. Season's best and a personal best, 55.25. Good lane draw for her, lane 4. She ran that personal best in her heat yesterday. Daniela Fra of Spain goes in 3. 55.7 in her heat was her personal best as well. We'll need to run at least that here to get into the first two. And Moa Granat of Sweden, just 19 years old. She ran a personal best, big personal best in her heat yesterday. Accruing very, very useful experience. European Under-20 Championships silver medalist 3 years back is Moa Granat. That was 3 years back when she was 16. Wow, what a talent she is. She's the European Under-20 champion from last year. So the final track action of the morning. The shot putters in the decathlon are still out there as the sun begins to break through from the cloudy sky above. Granat of Sweden in 2, Fra of France 3, Demes in 4 for Germany, Peters, Netherlands 5, Knight of Britain in 6, the Norwegian Kloster 7. And away they go. Muraro, Italy, one from the outside, and Belgium's Kalkite on the outside. Certainly, Kloster looks to have gone off very quickly. They're third from right. Oh, little adjustment to her her stride pattern there, Kloster. Maybe she went off too quickly. Knight, nice and steady, centre of picture, although really aggressive running from Demes of Germany. In the yellow, they're third from right. She's right up on the athletes outside of Peters and Knight. Knight's got some hard running to come yet if she's to make the first two. She does finish strongly, but she's not having a good one at the moment, Jessie Knight. They come round the bend and into the straight. It's brilliant running from Kloster of Norway. She leads at the moment. Peters in, Demes in second place, the German. Knight's going right backwards. She's having a really bad run here. This is so frustrating for her. But Kloster easing away here in the dark classes, and a really strong finish from Peters of the Netherlands. Is she going to get there? Yes, she is, to just deny Muraro of Italy an automatic qualifying spot. The time 54.55 from Kloster. That is a massive season's best. She's just taken over a second and a half off her season's best and secured a place in the final. And I think it was Peters of the Netherlands came through second place, and they're just getting the good news, Folorunso and Diallo, that they are indeed through to the final. Those hot seats they've been sitting in for a little while now have just become a lot cooler while their celebrations begin. Both of them were in the first semi, so it's been a long wait for them. Jessie Knight, I'm not quite sure what the problem was there, but that's not the Jessie Knight we know so well. She's normally fabulously consistent, Alex.
Yeah, not had the easiest season so far, Jessie Knight, but in any case, battled to the finish there and produced a fast one over the last 50 metres. But it was all about Kloster leading the way here. And yeah, when you think about on the male side how well Karsten Warholm's done, Norway would love to have a contender in this event on the female side as well. Why not? Peters, though, has had a terrific season, and she comes in second in Europe this year behind Bol, and second in this race. Potential, just maybe, for a Dutch double podium in this event. I mean, Peters' personal best coming into last season was 56.03. It's now 54.31. And I know those chunks taken off are possible, as I was saying, but it still makes it exciting when you consider that improvements are possible. That's one reason to persist with the event, really, knowing that you can eke out more and more.
Costa then winning 54.56. Kathleen Peters 54.66. Muraro with a personal best 54.73. Just misses out there. Jessie Knighter 56.01. Back down the field. And confirmation of the qualifiers for the final from the semi-finals. There they are. Folorunso, crikey, fancy finishing in that sort of time, but not an automatic qualifying spot. She goes through to the final as a non-automatic qualifier.
It was a race for Folorunso that deserved automatic qualification, though.
Absolutely right, yeah. Some good times there, and great to see so many personal bests and season's best from the athletes, amongst the athletes.
So after that thrilling men's 400 metres hurdles, it's now the women's turn to go over the barriers. And this, of course, features one of the superstars of European athletics, the European Athlete of the Year for the last 2 years, Femke Bol. What a fantastic night of athletics. Shambarko Tamberi at one end, and about to come out, presented to the crowd. Femke Bol. But of course, 7 other women in this race. It's not just all about the Dutch woman. So here we have someone who's certainly going to get huge cheers. The Italian record holder, 6th in Budapest at the World Championships last year, Ayamede Folorunso. National record of 53.89. Well, we've just seen the men's 400 metres hurdles record fall. Wonder if Folorunso can follow in the footsteps of Sibele in the men's race. This is a woman who set a Portuguese national record in the semi-finals. Fatoumata Binta Diallo. 54.65. No national record for this woman, Nicoleta Jicheva. She did set a personal best of 54.59 in her semi-final. She jogs out to lane 4. Lena Kloster, now 34 years of age, 12 national titles over a variety of distances from 100 metres upwards. And it looks like she's finally found her distance. And here the roars for Femke Bol. Well, in Munich, Femke Bol set the championship record of 52.67. She's got the European lead of 53.07 from the Diamond League in Stockholm just over a week ago. Louise Maraval, last year's European under-23 silver medalist, had improved her personal best to 54.36 in the semi-finals. Lena Nielsen, well, her sister Lavia is a finalist in the 400 metres without the hurdles, keeping the family tradition going here in Rome. Another woman who set a personal best. And this is Kathleen Peters. Well, she's the number 2 Dutch woman. She's the number 2 European woman. She has a best recently last month of 54.31. But on paper, she's more than a second behind Bol in terms of times this year. So those are the 8 women who are going to contest the women's 400 metres hurdles. Nielsen, stalwart of the British relay teams in the past, like Peters as well. She's been involved in many Dutch medal-winning quartets. Swing past Jicheva. Diallo, very much a new name on the international circuit. She's made a big breakthrough this year. So all there. Set. Ready to go. From the inside, Foloronso, Italy. Diallo, Portugal. Jicheva, Czechia. Kloster, Norway. Bol, the Netherlands. Maraval, France. Nielsen, Great Northern Ireland. And out in lane 9, Peters of the Netherlands. The women's 400 meters hurdles final.
Right.
And Bol, as you might imagine, in lane 6, flying out of her blocks. She's the first to rise at the first barrier, and she's already up on Maraval on her outside. Now she's starting to claw back the stagger on Nielsen in lane 8. Bol is looking magnificent at this stage. She's coming round. They're at the 200-meter mark. Behind her, it's really just a battle for the silver medal. Peters is winning that battle at the moment as they come round the far bend. Kloster also doing well, the Norwegian in lane 5, but it's Bol. She's just pulling away from her rivals with every single step, every single stride. She's over the last barrier, and now she's just heading for home. It's just a question of Bol versus the clock. It's going to be 52.50. She has taken 1700ths off her own championship record. It's a magnificent gold. She retains her title. What a wonderful performance from Bol. And behind her, Maraval comes through so strongly. She looked as though she was struggling a little bit down the back straight, but really recovered with a very strong second half of the race. 54.23, I should say, for Maraval. Personal best for her. Peters comes through for bronze to make it 2 Dutch women on the podium. Maraval, the second fastest time in Europe this year, behind Bol. Bol, well, she worked hard for that. She's already had an outing in the mixed relay as well, where the Dutch team got the bronze, but she is once again the European champion.
Well, Phil, you know what she would be really pleased about there is that the stride pattern worked perfectly. She didn't blast off too fast. She only really got into her running after about 50 or 60 meters. But that is significantly quicker than she ran in Stockholm 10 days or so ago. I think she was probably a little bit disappointed to not have gone faster. That is the quickest time in the world this year. It is faster than McLaughlin Levrone over in the USA ran a couple of weeks ago. That was a 52.70. So this from Bol, a statement run. She will be delighted with that. Of course, there was about a 12-meter gap behind her. We knew it would be that way. There's nobody as close to her as one or two of the fellas were tonight behind Warholm. But yeah, dominant run there. We know that they have to run to their stride pattern, eyes front, in a sort of blinkered fashion, not worry about what's going on around them. So she's used to this. And she did it perfectly there tonight, and I think she and her team will be absolutely delighted with that time and the manner of that run. And I get the sense there's a little bit more in the tank.
Without a doubt, she hardly broke sweat really going round one lap of this.